basically bond prices are set by supply and demand. The supply of treasuries is a known thing, but demand can be affected by any and all of these theories, and also just by sentiment too, which is hard to characterize. So, markets have been volatile. They've been longer. You've seen the rates moving up and down a lot. I think we have to let this play out and watch it. But for now, it looks. It's clearly a tightening in financial conditions, and so we'll be watching it carefully.
Talking about the fiscal side, and you've been very careful repeatedly to say you want to stay in your lane, you're not responsible for fiscal issues. At the same time, you have to take into account, and it looks like the United States is going to have to borrow a fair amount of money. By the way, other countries are as well around the world. We have a big supply of treasuries coming on board. To what extent do you think that is a longer term issue? And let me tie it back to something you referred to in your remarks actually. When we see geopolitical conflict around the world, like in Israel, like in Ukraine, some of the buildup with respect to China, the defense spending is going to be elevated for the United States and for other countries. Do you take that into account in figuring monetary policy? Because it may well mean that we're borrowing a lot more money than we have in the past.
So we, of course, see the same things that everyone else. So I just came back from IMF meetings this weekend, and there's a lot of talk of the very large resource demands that organizations like the IMF and of course countries are facing, and the need for substantial amounts of revenue. You mentioned military. There's also dealing with climate change and things like that. So there's a lot of that. We don't, as you mentioned, we don't comment on fiscal policy. Actually, the fiscal authorities have oversight over us, and not the other way around. So we stay away from that. So I would just say everyone knows that it's not a secret, and about all I can say is we know that we're on an unsustainable path fiscally. It's not that the level of the debt is unsustainable. It's not. It's that the path we're on is unsustainable, and we'll have to get off that path sooner rather than later.